Hello, my name is Hiroko Kanoh from Yamagata University in Japan. Today I will present our study on student-built metaverse worlds. Before starting, let me briefly introduce my research background. I have studied the impact of social media on young people, including cyberbullying and online communication. Recently, my research interests have shifted toward AI literacy and the use of machine learning and AI in education. I also recently developed an AI counselor system. On the next slide, you will find a QR code to try my AI counselor system. This is not part of today's presentation, but if you have time, I would greatly appreciate your feedback. Please note that it runs on a paid API, so I would appreciate moderate use. Today I talk about student-built metaverse worlds on Cluster. In many classes, students build a virtual world as a learning artifact. After that, teachers need to evaluate the worlds and give feedback. But it is not easy to define what a good world is. In this study, I compare 5 student-built worlds. I use visitor reflections and text mining. My goal is to show that a world can be good in different ways. Here is the roadmap for my presentation. First, I explain why goodness is hard to judge in student-built worlds. Next, I introduce my research questions. Then I describe the course context and the 5 worlds. After that, I explain the method, visitor reflections and co-occurrence networks. Then I show the results, world by world. Finally, I discuss implications for teaching and assessment. At the end, I will be happy to take questions. This slide explains the motivation. More courses ask students to build metaverse worlds. These worlds can be creative and meaningful. However, teachers often ask a simple question. How do we evaluate them? Different visitors may value different things. One visitor may focus on beauty. Another visitor may focus on usability or learning functions. So we need an evaluation view that respects diverse strengths. This study is one step toward that goal. Here is the key idea. Good is not one single score. Visitors may judge a world on multiple dimensions. For example, they may look at aesthetics and theme. They may also look at usability, navigation, and comfort. Some worlds support learning activities, like lectures or group work. Other worlds support engagement, like exploration or game-like tasks. So, when we assess student worlds, we should expect different kinds of value. These are my research questions. RQ1. What themes appear in visitor reflections for each world? I look for repeated topics and keywords. RQ2. How do these themes differ across worlds? Then I ask, what can teachers do with these differences? In other words, how can we give fair feedback and design better assignments? These questions connect student creativity with practical assessment. Now I explain the study context and data. The platform is Cluster, where students can build virtual worlds. 5 worlds were created in one academic year. In the next year, 6 students visited all 5 worlds. After each visit, they wrote a free text reflection. So we have 30 reflections in total. 6 visitors times 5 worlds. This is a small dataset, but it is rich in qualitative meaning. I use it for thematic comparison. This slide shows the 5 worlds. World A is a Western mansion. It has a large, luxurious lobby and many rooms. World B is a Western-style house. It is smaller and simple, with easy navigation. World C is a university campus. It has classrooms, a hall, a large screen, and seating. World D is a Japanese shrine with a small exploration game. World E is a seaside world. It focuses on relaxing scenery and calm mood. Importantly, these worlds were designed with different intentions. So we should not expect the same kind of goodness in all worlds. Let me start with World A, the Western mansion. The design intent was to create a strong, luxurious atmosphere. It also offers many rooms, so visitors can explore. In addition, it provides screens for group viewing. So this world combines visual richness and functional space for gatherings. When you look at this world, you may think about mood, beauty, and coherence. At the same time, you can also think about how the space supports group activity. Next, I will show what visitors actually mentioned. Next is World B, the Western-style house. The intent here was different. The layout is small and simple. The first room is easy to find. This reduces confusion, especially for beginners. So World B prioritizes usability rather than scale or decoration. In teaching, this kind of design can be a strength. For example, if the goal is a quick meeting or a simple learning task, a clear layout can be more important than visual complexity. Now World C, the university campus. This world was designed to support lectures, presentations, and events. It uses a familiar school-like layout. It prepares a large screen and seating. So the key value is learning-oriented affordances. Visitors can easily imagine real class activities in this world. This is important because many educational uses need clear functions: where to sit, where to look, and how to share content. Next is World D, a shrine plus a small exploration game. The design aims to create a calm Japanese shrine atmosphere. Then it adds a simple task: find a specific object. This encourages active exploration. So World D mixes cultural atmosphere and interaction design. In a class project, this world shows one way to add engagement. Even a small game mechanic can change how visitors move and talk. Later, you will see that visitors mentioned finding and exploring often. Finally, World E, the seaside world. The intent is to provide relaxing mood and scenery. It supports informal talk and reflection. It invites slow walking and calm exploration. This world is less about screens or tasks. Instead, it is more about comfort and well-being. In education, this kind of space may fit mentoring, peer talk, or reflection. Next, I explain how I analyzed the reflections across these worlds. Now I explain the method. Step 1. Students wrote free text reflections in Japanese. Step 2. I translated the reflections into English. Step 3. I cleaned the text and ran text mining with KHCoder. Step 4. I created co-occurrence networks at the sentence level. Step 5. I compared themes across the 5 worlds. This approach helps me compare worlds in a structured way, while still respecting the meaning of qualitative comments. Here is a simple way to read a co-occurrence network. Each node is a word that appeared often. A link means 2 words appear in the same sentence. Bigger nodes mean higher frequency. Thicker links mean stronger association. In this study, the association is based on the Jaccard coefficient. When words form a cluster, it suggests a theme in the reflections. On the next slides, I show one network for each world and summarize the main themes. These are the themes for World A. The strongest cluster is about aesthetic richness and atmosphere. Visitors describe the world as luxurious, beautiful, and even fantastical. They also mention the coherence of the theme, like the lobby and the red carpet. Another theme relates to screens and space for gatherings. So World A is good, mainly as a visually impressive and coherent space, and also as a place where people can gather and view content together. This matches the original design intent of the world. Now World B here, the main theme is simplicity as usability. Visitors valued the small scale and calm feeling. They said it is easy to understand and easy to navigate. Importantly, visitors mentioned less confusion for first-time users. So World B is good, because it lowers cognitive load. It shows that a simple world can be high quality when the purpose is clear. For assessment, this means we should not always reward size or decoration. Sometimes, simplicity is the best design choice. Next, World C. The central words are classroom, presentation, and screen. Visitors focused on learning-oriented affordances. They mentioned the large screen and seating for events. They also said it feels like a real school. So World C is good, because it supports structured learning activities. In other words, it has strong functional design for education. If a teacher wants students to run a seminar or a lecture in VR, this type of world may be the most suitable. Now World D, two kinds of themes appear together. First, visitors talked about the shrine and the Japanese atmosphere. Words like calm and cultural feeling are important. Second, visitors often mentioned the exploration task. They said it is interesting that it becomes a game to look for an object. So World D is good, because it adds engagement through interaction. Even a lightweight task can increase attention and movement. This suggests that activity design is another valid path to goodness. Finally, World E, the main theme is restorative mood and reflection. Visitors often used words like relaxing, calm, and beautiful scenery. They said the seaside view invites slow walking. They also mentioned that it is good for informal talk and reflection. So World E is good, as a comfortable space. It may support well-being activities, peer support, or reflective discussion. This reminds us that educational value is not only about lectures or tasks. A space for calm communication can also be valuable. Now I summarize the overall pattern. Across all worlds, visitors did not use one single quality metric. Each world can be good for a different purpose. World A is mainly about aesthetics and coherence. World B is mainly about simplicity and usability. World C is mainly about learning affordances. World D is mainly about engaging activity through a game element. World E is mainly about comfort and reflection. So assessment should allow multiple paths to success. This is the main message of this study. Students also discussed benefits and challenges of metaverse use. First, benefits. You do not have to show your face, so some learners feel safer. You can also experience things that are impossible in the real world. And a shared virtual space can support discussion and creativity. Now challenges. Students mentioned eye fatigue and possible health impact. They also noted that internet and devices are required. So metaverse use can create a digital divide. These points are important when we design classroom use. Based on the results, here are practical implications. First, use a multi-dimensional rubric, not one total score. Second, match evaluation to the intended activity. For example, a lecture world needs screens and seating. A reflection world needs comfort and calm mood. Third, give feedback on strengths and trade-offs. A world can be strong in one dimension and weaker in another. Finally, plan for accessibility. Consider fatigue, devices, and bandwidth from the start. This helps more students participate safely and fairly. I also need to mention limitations and future work. The sample is small: 6 visitors, 1 course, 1 university. The data are written reflections, so we do not have behavior logs. Also, translation may change subtle nuance. In future work, we should include more participants and more worlds. We can add log data, such as movement paths and interaction events. We can also combine this approach with usability scales, like SUS, and technology acceptance items, like TAM. Finally, we can test a rubric and see how feedback changes next designs. Let me end with 3 take-home messages. First, good has multiple meanings in student-built metaverse worlds. Second, different worlds can be good in different ways. Third, teachers can use multidimensional assessment and support access. If we do this, we can respect student diversity and design better learning tasks. Thank you very much for listening. Unfortunately, I had planned to travel via Doha, so I was unable to attend the conference in person. I was really looking forward to interacting with all of you. I welcome your questions, comments, and feedback. Please feel free to contact me by email.